Time for the weekend
Roundup.
There we go. Good job. Just baseball show for Monday, September 23rd. The only people that use the word penultimate are people that talk into hot mics for a living. So I'm
Okay.
going to use it now because I'm a goober. This is the penultimate weekend. Yeah, there we go.
Roundup.
Good
I didn't
job.
know where you
Good
were
job.
going with that, but I'm
Good job.
always ready for a good old roundup.
I pointed to you, dude. Like you have to be ready. When I point to you and I say weekend, you follow with. Yeah.
Roundup, where we
Okay.
recap the series that was over the past weekend. Our favorite episode. You're going to hear everything from the last weekend of baseball. And man, was it awesome.
And my point is, this is the penultimate weekend roundup that we have of the MLB regular season. We have this, we have one more that wraps up the regular season. Although I hopped in the lab, and the lab is Google Sheets, and I was trying to figure out, what we should be doing when it comes to the wild card series and overall just like postseason, how we're going to handle the Just Baseball show. And I'm not even sure if we're going to do a weekend. I'll just point to you. Weekend.
Roundup.
Nice. Next week. I have no idea. So this could be the last one. Does it make any sense to do a weekend
Roundup.
next week?
My throat hurts.
Yeah, I know. So now that we have like another hour to go in the show, we might as well tell you that this show is brought to you by.
BetMGM, the king of sports books. Remember, folks, use code JustBaseball when you download BetMGM, whether that be on iOS or Android, because they're going to get you a first bet offer up to $1,500. So basically, you download BetMGM, use promo code JustBaseball, deposit at least $10, and then on your first wager, if it were to lose, you'll get it all back in bonus up to $1,500. And if it wins, congratulations, you won a freaking bet. I've been winning some bets lately. Guardians to win the division, Brewers to
Nice.
win the division. Got to give
Nice.
myself a pat on the back because the regular
Nice.
season didn't go great. But gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older. Terms and conditions apply.
Our futures getting us back into plus money. What's
Oh,
the
yeah.
word?
I'm having maybe the greatest futures run I have ever had in my entire
Nice.
life in any sport at any time. I'll do a full recap after the season is done.
Yeah.
But we're up like 17 units in futures, and the season
Great.
isn't even over yet. It's been incredible, which is funny because the regular season was a huge pot of hell. So overall, after the futures are done, we should be well in the green.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, dude, you're kicking tail with the future stuff. Minor league baseball season just ended, which is crazy, and now we look for things to do. But I don't think we're gonna have much of an issue. Worst comes to worst, I just go to a casino until 8 a.m. before day games, right?
Yeah, you're making fun of yourself a little bit, but I want to clap it up, and I hope the audience is giving Jack a little clap. 5 years in minor league baseball, just finished up his 5th season. Congratulations to our guy Jack McMullen.
Thanks, man. Yeah, season in 2019, short season ball. The Nats New York Penn League affiliate, the Auburn Double Days, then COVID, then 21 with Fort Wayne, and then 22, 23, 24 in Indy at this point, which is cool. But yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to be hitting Bally's in Chicago until 8 a.m. before a day game. We'll save our conversation there for when we go through the Nats Cubs series, because I feel like that is kind of the driving story of this. But as we start, I'm going to have you do it one more time. As we start the weekend
Roundup.
Okay, you're going to need some NyQuil or something tonight. We will jump in with Pirates Reds, unless you have anything that you want to get to before we get to the weekend. I'm not going to make you do
Yeah.
roundup.
I think we just get straight to it. I have the Sunday night series, so that means you're up first with your series. And why don't we just
Yeah,
get straight into it?
I'm up first. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh at Great American Ballpark. Cincinnati took it 2-1. Game one, 8-3 Reds. Mitch Keller, 3 1/3, 8 runs, 5 walks. ERA at 4.21 on the year and in the high fives after the All-Star break. Nick Martinez, awesome. 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 9 Ks. O'Neill Cruz homered. So did Tyler Stevenson and Jonathan India. Tyler Stevenson 3 for 5 with 5 RBIs. Game two, 7-1 Cincinnati. Rhett Lauder was awesome again. 5 innings, no runs, 4 Ks. Now 5 starts. Rhett Lauder has allowed 4 runs total, 4 runs in 25 2/3 innings. Ty France and Ellie De La Cruz with bombs off of Jared Jones. Ellie 3 for 5 with a double, a homer, and 4 driven in. Jared Jones, 5 innings, 6 runs, 3 walks. The ERA on the year sits at 4.14. All of a sudden, this great year for Jared Jones is marred by a post All-Star break ERA over 6. I know he was dealing with the lat thing. Billy Cook did go yard in that one. Game 3, 2-0 Pittsburgh. I think the National League Rookie of the Year was crowned in this game.
Sick
Oneil
game.
Cruz, sick game. Oneil Cruz took Hunter Green 440 feet.
Yep.
Nick York had his first big league homer. Hunter Green only went 3, but Paul effing Skeens, 5 shutout innings, 2 hits, no walks, 9 Ks. Skeens got the win. He is now 11-3 with a 1.99 ERA, a whip under 1, an opponent batting average of an even 200, and in 131 innings, he has 167 punchouts. I think Addison put it really well. Jackson Merrill's been awesome. How can this not be the Rookie of the Year?
Jackson Merrill has been awesome. Starting pitchers in MLB history with an ERA below 2.60 and at least 10 Ks per 9 in the rookie season, minimum of 100 innings. This comes to us from our Twitter. Paul Skeens, 1.99 ERA and an 11.47 K per 9. Let's see who else is on the list. Oh, no, that's it. Ever. BetMGM agrees with you, Jack. Paul Skeens is your new Rookie of the Year favorite. Minus 150 price. Jackson Merrill is now plus 115. So the books agree with you. And I think everyone else, including myself, kind of agrees with you. Jackson Merrill's been great, but he hasn't been MVP caliber level. And Paul Skeens, since he stepped onto the mound, has arguably been the best pitcher in baseball. I think you can say he's been the best pitcher in baseball since he stepped on the mound. You got to be amazing if you're a pitcher to win Rookie of the Year. We saw what happened with Spencer Strider and Michael Harris. Strider had an incredible year. So did Michael Harris, and Michael Harris won it. So you have to be that level of dominant and go even above. And Skeens has done that. So he should win the Rookie of the Year, unless Merrill hits like hits a bunch of home runs in the last couple of games. He would have to go nuclear. But right now, it does seem as if Paul Skeens is your National League Rookie of the Year. And my Jackson Merrill ticket, might as well light it on fire, but that was a great bet. It was a lot of fun, and it is still going to come down to these two, and you never really know.
Paul Skeens debuted on May 11th of this year. Since May 11th, Paul Skeens has a 1.99 ERA. That is his career ERA at this point. Next best in Major League Baseball is Chris Sale at 2.20, Hunter Brown at 2.50, Tarik Skubal at 2.66. In terms of strikeouts, since Paul Skeens made his debut on May 11th, as the research portal loads this for me, since May 11th, Skeens obviously has the whip under 1, the batting average against at an even 200. We are almost there on the load. Come on, give it to me. Give it to him. This is so brutal, dude.
Give it to him.
I don't know why it's not loading right now. The query is just like, is it too populated for them?
Here's what I do sometimes. Here's what I do sometimes when my stats aren't loading. I'll just mix them up. So I'll make them up for you. So Paul Skeens, last 10 starts, has not given up a run. He has 100 strikeouts. And is it loaded yet?
No, it hasn't loaded yet. Oh, here we go now. Strikeout leaders since Paul Skeens made his debut. Chris Sale at 173, Tarik Skubal at 168, Paul Skeens at 167. What are we doing here?
He didn't even have like a welcome to the big league start, really. I mean, just as soon as he stepped on the mound, he was the best. And that was it. And now he's going to win Rookie of the Year, likely.
So that's what I've got for this series. Do you have anything else on this series?
No, my takeaway was just glazing Skeens. He's just been unbelievable. He has been the best pitcher in baseball since he debuted and should win Rookie of the Year unless Jackson Merrill goes absolutely buck wild in the last couple of games.
Yeah, I don't foresee a world where that happens. But now we go to Toronto in Tampa Bay. Tampa sweeps. This was the Jonathan Aranda series. Game 1, 1-0 Tampa. Only run was a Jonathan Aranda solo homer. Jose Barrios, really good. 6 innings, 1 run. He K'd 6. Tyler Alexander opened a combined shutout for Tampa. 4 1/3, 2 hits, no runs. He K'd 6. Hunter Biggie, who came back in the Isaac Paredes deal from Chicago, got his first MLB save. You went to Harvard and you're getting saves for the Rays, dude. Come on, like save some for the rest of us. Game two, 3-2 Tampa. Aranda homered again. Vladdy went 4 for 5. Taj Bradley, 5 innings, 1 run. Drew Rasmussen, 2 perfect with 3 Ks for his second big league save. Game three, 4-3 Tampa. Aranda homered again. Brandon Lau also homered. Shane Baz, really good. 6 innings, 1 run, and 6 Ks. This is the Tampa that I look forward to in 2025. This
Yeah,
gave me palpable excitement for 25.
yeah, I hate to just continue to latch on to again your takeaways, but we have the same one, right? I think with a couple of these teams, we're kind of looking towards next year. And if you can play competitive baseball in September, it's a good launching point into next year. And we have to remember that Tampa's rotation next year is going to be incredible, barring health concerns, because that has been the bugaboo for Tampa now over the past couple of years. This year, it it just went terribly in terms of those injuries. And the guys stepping up. Normally, the Rays have these guys that you never even hear of, and they get in the game and they make an impact, whether that's defensively, offensively, on the bases. You just didn't have enough of those guys this year. Too many injuries to overcome. But I will shout out Tampa because the fact is, they just went above the Red Sox. They are 78 and
Wow.
78 this season. Red Sox 77 and 78 as we look at the standings right now.
Damn.
So Tampa is still able to win with a skeleton of a team. And you can tell at the very end here, they finally started getting a little bit healthier and they won 7 of their last 10 games. So you see the vision for next year. And I think that's important.
You totally see the vision. And these are two teams that are essentially playing for a momentum swing and a positive outcome going into the 25 season. And Tampa seems like they could very well embody that.
And
We,
technically, they're not out of it. They are 4 games back of the
yeah,
wild card. I mean,
they're
I
out of
don't
it.
see it. Yeah, I don't see it happening either, but it's not over technically. I just
There
want
are
to say it's
6
never
games
over
left.
until it's over, Jack. It's never over until it's over. That's all I'm going to say.
This is pretty over. I'll let you do the punch me in the face bet. If Tampa is in the wild card series, you can punch me in the
Why?
face.
Why?
Deal?
Why?
Because it's not
Why?
going to happen. And
Who knows?
I may want you to punch me in the face. I bet it all the time.
I love these bets just for everybody listening. No downside for me. It's like a first bet offer from BetMGM. you
Right.
know, you
You
know.
win, all of a sudden you get to punch me in the face.
Sure.
Sweet. Why not? Yeah, I'll do that for free. Let's go to LA and Houston. Houston really looked like Houston this weekend until Sunday. Game one, 3-1 Houston. This was a 4 game set. Astros got a lead on a 2 run double from John Singleton in the bottom of the 8th. Taylor Ward homered. Yusei Kikuchi, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. He K'd 9. This was Neris Abreu hater, 7, 8, and 9. Scoreless. And that is how they got the 2 run win. Game two, a 2 run win for Houston, 9-7. Astros had a 5 run third. Alex Bregman had a 2 run homer. Jake Myers had a 3 run homer. Yainer Diaz, 3 for 4. Alex Bregman, 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Kyle Tucker, 4 for 5 with a homer and 3 runs scored. Kevin Pillar homered, sick. Eric Wagaman, 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Do you know who that is?
No idea.
27-year-old. Like, it's very hard. I've mentioned this before. It's really hard to sneak a big leaguer by me. It's
Yeah.
really hard to sneak a big leaguer by you and a big leaguer by Aram.
Can I say something? Maybe it's a lack of knowing ball. I feel like at the end in this September, there have been more players that I don't recognize than ever before. Like it would used to be, oh, that one guy. Wow, I didn't really know. There have been like 4 or 5 guys who I've never heard of lately.
It's not a large number. You have to be okay with 4 or 5.
I'm okay with it, but
Yeah,
I want to be a true ball knower. And I pride myself on if you get me and you're like, quiz me on every starter on every team, I can go through most of the teams, give you their bullpen, give you their rotation, give you their lineup from 1 to 9. But lately, maybe it's a lack of ball knowing. I don't know. I can't do that with some of the guys that have been playing.
So for me, there's typically like 3 guys in a given year. And I think all 3 this year are on the LA Angels. And Eric Wagaman is one of them. I don't
It's
know who
true.
that is.
Because the Angels and the A's have been pulling up these like quad A guys all the time. And yeah.
Yeah. And then like I don't blame you if like you didn't know who Justin Anderson was for the White Sox. And we mentioned that is not the combo guard from Virginia that I think won ACC Player of the Year, was at least first team all ACC. Justin Verlander, the big thing from this one, 4 and 2/3, 8 hits, 6 runs. More on that in a moment. Game 3, 10-4 Houston. The Astros had 20 hits. 20. 9 came against Reed Detmers, which sucked. He also walked 3, 7 runs in 2 innings for Detmers. Jordan and Kyle Tucker went a combined 8 for 9. Jordan hit homer number 35. Tucker and Caratini also homered. Logan O'Hoppe hit his 20th. Renel Blanco, 6 innings, 2 runs, and 9 Ks. Game 4, LA did win a tight one, 9-8. Both sides, 12 hits. Angels had a 4-run top of the 9th, highlighted by a Zach Neto bases clearing double. Neto also had a multi-homer day. He was 3 for 5, a double, 2 homers, and 6 RBIs. Alex Bregman, a 3-hit day with a homer. Altuve went yard. Yainer Diaz, another 3-hit day. Hader stunk. He got 1 out. He allowed 3 hits, walked 2, and 4 runs charged to him. My big takeaway from this series, aside from Houston started to flex their muscles like the Houston Astros should, is I think we learned that Renel Blanco should be in this postseason rotation over Justin Verlander.
You're an asshole. Like,
No, I'm not, dude.
I'm trying to have takeaways here.
I'm taking the layups. Like, start shooting from deep, okay?
All right, I'll go from deep. I think I like John Singleton.
No,
I think I
too
do.
deep. That's too deep.
I think I do. No, but my takeaway was this is how I would do the Houston Astros playoff rotation. We're starting out with Framber Valdez. You better get a win because Framber against anybody, you can win on any given day. Hunter Brown goes number 2. He's been pitching, you said, when you were pulling up scheme splits in the second half.
Yeah, it
Hunter
took too
Brown has
long.
been
Thanks,
as good of a pitcher as anybody in the second half. He's getting the ball game 2. Game 3, depending on the matchup, like who exactly you are facing, I wouldn't mind going Verlander to Kikuchi in game 3. Attack it at that angle. Then game 4, you go Renel Blanco. That's how I would do their rotation. I would piggyback Kikuchi off Verlander, completely different look, right? Righty to lefty, because I don't feel like I need to piggyback Renel Blanco with anybody. He's just been that damn good. But I would start him game 4. What are your thoughts on that?
I hear you on it. I think you give the ball to Kikuchi for the first inning and you see how far he goes. I think Justin Verlander, this is the real test of like how bad you want to do this, man. I think this is the real test of you ready to come out of the bullpen?
Because my real thoughts are, Kikuchi's going game 4 and Blanco's going game 3 and Verlander's not seeing the mound. But we know that's not going to happen. Justin Verlander has earned it.
He's earned the opportunity to throw some innings in the postseason.
Yeah.
I don't know when those innings are going to come, in what situation those innings are going to come. I just don't think it should be the first inning of a playoff game.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think the 4 guys that throw the first inning of a playoff game for the Houston Astros this postseason should be Framber Valdez, Hunter Brown, Yusei Kikuchi, and Renel Blanco. I think Arrighetti, we already had him penciled in to be that gross 2-inning reliever. Put Verlander in that pen, dude, and like trim the fat from that bullpen. Like, hey, you've got Hader, Abreu, Neris, Presley,
Scott.
Verlander and Arrighetti are right there.
Yeah.
Like, just slap him into that stable. And I'm not saying that Verlander should get the 8th in a 1-run game. I'm just saying if Kikuchi is struggling through 3, Verlander should be ready for the 4th. I just don't think he should be throwing the 1st.
I agree with you. But can I finish on my John Singleton point? Can I?
Sure. Yeah.
Because
the Astros, Caitlin Clark range that we're talking about right now.
The Astros need a good first baseman, right? They've been struggling in that position all year, and Singleton certainly was not helping them early, right? 690 OPS in April, 684 in May, 703 in June, 605 in July. None of those are going to cut it. But in August, he got a little hot, put up an 810 OPS. And in September, the dude's been balling. He's got a 946 OPS in September. The reason I bring him up is he getting hot at the right moment? Because if he is, you add him into that Astros lineup, and that gets a lot deeper. So I'm just saying, hot take, John Singleton is a big-time hit in the playoffs that makes a real difference. Maybe a game-winning home run. I'm throwing that out into the ether.
Agree to disagree. Moving on.
All right.
Let's go to San Francisco and Kansas City. This was brutal. San Francisco swept at Kauffman. Game 1, 2-1 San Francisco. Mason Black, 5 2/3 scoreless. Elliot Ramos, 3 for 4, a double, a run driven in. Bobby Witt, 3 for 4, 3 singles, 5 hits for Kansas City, 0 extra base hits. Game 2, 9-0 San Francisco, a 6-run sixth. Landon Roop, 5 scoreless innings. Brady Singer got hit, 5 1/3, 6 runs. Lamont Wade had a 2-homer day. Matt Chapman had a 2-homer day. 2 extra base hits for Kansas City were doubles from Bobby Witt Jr. and MJ Melendez. Game 3, 2-0 San Francisco. Blake Snell was Snell. 6 innings, 2 hits, 9 Ks. Seth Lugo, 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. Grant McCray had an RBI triple. Here's what I want to point out. Yes, it was a series sweep for the San Francisco Giants, but the Kansas City Royals, who all of a sudden find themselves on the brink of missing the postseason, were outscored on the weekend by a team outside of the postseason 13-1. Kansas City in those 3 games had 13 base hits. How many extra base hits did they have in 3 games? The 2 doubles that I mentioned, a double from Bobby Witt, a double from MJ Melendez, neither produced a run, 2 extra base hits, and 1 run in 3 games. You're in the second to last weekend of the regular season. You're in a wild card spot right now. This was brutal to watch. And this has me on pins and needles ready for the final week.
In the month of September, the Chicago White Sox have a 613 OPS as a team. It's the worst in baseball. The team with the second worst OPS in baseball in that span is the Kansas City Royals with a 615 OPS. If we're looking at WRC plus, the Rockies have a 65 WRC plus since September began. The Royals are at 71, actually 2 points below the White Sox. The offense has completely disappeared. And when the starting pitchers are not there in order to stop a team like the Giants, this team can look really bad, really fast. Because when it's just Bobby hitting, the rest of the lineup can't hit. The bullpen starts to falter. The starting pitching is not as good as it was. This starts to look like a Royals team that has no business being near the playoffs. But that's so unfortunate because up until September, this was a perennial team. This is the most exciting team in baseball. The wind has just been sucked out of the balloon, Jack.
Yeah, and note that it essentially coincided with Vinny Pasquantino's absence from the lineup. Like, it's really important for Bobby Witt to have a Robin.
Yeah.
And Vinny was his Robin. And you lose your Robin, what happens? Batman can't do it by himself in baseball. They can do it by themselves in basketball. I don't know soccer well enough. I think they can do it by themselves in soccer. But, like, in football, you cannot do it, right? Like, you need weapons. In baseball, it is impossible to do it by yourself. There's a reason that we're going to see the first postseason game from Shohei Ohtani in his career this year. It's impossible for Bobby Witt to do this all by himself. Man, like, this is brutal. And building on your point, where it's like, hey, if the rotation is not doing what they're doing, you know, this team is very vulnerable. The rotation essentially did what it did. Like, Brady Singer laid an egg, okay? Michael Wacha was good on Friday.
Always.
Seth Lugo was great on Sunday. So they get a good start from Wacha, a great start from Lugo, and they lose both those games. Just can't happen.
And if we're just going back to the lineup, right, if Vinny can't be that Robin, their guy, Salvador Perez, has to step up in moments like this. Has to. And what has he done in September? 615 OPS. He has the same OPS as the entire team. And he was hitting well. He had an 864 OPS in August. He had to take this and run with it, and he hasn't. And overall in the second half, 748 OPS to an 820. Power has dropped off. He's getting on base at a far lower clip. This needed to be the month where Salvador Perez was the veteran. The guy's been in Kansas City his entire life, wills them to a playoff run with Bobby Witt Jr. And he is not. And it's really unfortunate because you'll never hear me say a bad thing about Salvador Perez ever. I might make fun of his framing occasionally, but overall, legend of our game, but has come up short in the big moment when they needed him. And it's shitty. That's all I got to say. I mean, that's
no doubt.
Damn it. Like, this was the time where Salvador Perez hits those bunch of home runs and has the best month and leads the Royals to the wild card. And I mean, it's not over. It ain't over yet. Like, we're kind of eulogizing this team. It ain't over, right?
I know.
They've
I
played
know.
well enough in order to get a little bit of a buffer here, but now that buffer is gone. So what are you going to do over the last week?
You got a ball.
Got a ball.
And I hope they do. I would say the odds are in their favor of doing so. But man, we'll find out. We're going to get to Arizona and Milwaukee in a moment. Before that, our first break. Arizona and Milwaukee in Milwaukee. This was a 3-1 series win in a 4-game set for the Snakes. Game 1, 5-1 Arizona. Pavin Smith, Garrett Mitchell, go yard. Pavin for Arizona, Garrett Mitchell for Milwaukee. Tobias Myers, 4 innings, 3 runs, one of which earned. Brandon Pfaadt was unreal. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 12 Ks, and no walks. Went Pfaadt for 7, Puck with the scoreless 8th, Justin Martinez with a scoreless 9th. Game 2, 7-4 Arizona. A lot of homers. Ketel Marte's 33rd, Lourdes Gurriel homered, Joey Ortiz homered, William Contreras, Garrett Mitchell homered. Zach Gallen allowed 3 homers, but went 5 innings, only allowed 4 runs, which was, I don't know, weird considering he allowed 3 homers. Colin Ray, remarkably average. I will say, Zach Gallen turned the ball over to Ginkel, Martinez, Thompson, Puck. They went 4 scoreless with 6 Ks and no walks. Game 3, 5-0 Arizona. Ketel Marte, number 34. Jock Peterson, Jose Herrera also homered. Ketel, 2 for 2 with 3 walks drawn. Merrill Kelly, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs. He K'd 6, didn't walk anyone. Aaron Savali, incredibly mid. Game 4, 10-9 Milwaukee. Milwaukee had a 4-run 8th to put him ahead. Devin Williams locked it down. This guy did not skip a beat after missing the first half of the season. 3 runs in 19 2/3 innings for Devin Williams this year. That's an ERA in the low ones. Ketel Marte hit homer number 35 on the year. Josh Bell homered. Eugenio Suarez hit number 29 on the season. 6 Brewers, though, recorded multi-hit days. Frankie Montas sucked. Jordan Montgomery was meh. I don't know where I stand on this series. I have no idea, to be honest. Like, this got me encouraged for the Snakes. I think that's my one big takeaway. But even then, I was just like, well, I saw good things on both sides, I think.
It's so funny because on last week's weekend roundup, the Brewers played the Diamondbacks, right? In a weekend series, and that was in Arizona, and the Brewers took 2 of 3. And in the last game, it was 11-10 Diamondbacks in order to avoid the sweep. Almost the exact same thing. And I came on here and I said I wanted to see how the Brewers would respond against a really good team with all of their best pitchers at home. What did they do? They won 2 of 3 and arguably should have won all 3 in the series.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, all right, let's see how the Diamondbacks respond here, right? You just lost to this team at home. Do you respond and win? Or do you kind of lay down? What do they do? Respond and win. I think it just goes to show that both of these two teams can go beat anyone, anywhere, and are dangerous. It just, is the ball going to bounce their way or not?
Yeah.
That's how good both of these two teams are. They can win on the road. They can win at home. They're as good as it gets. And when you go up against other teams that are as good as it gets, anything can happen. I think that's what we saw in both series. Both of these two teams, very, very good, going to be very, very dangerous in the playoffs. But anything can happen when two teams go up against each other. A small takeaway, or you want to go ahead?
No, I was going to ask you, you power rank all 30 big league bullpens. Is Arizona top 5?
No.
You sure?
No, they're not top 5, in my opinion. Just off the top of my head, I will take the Braves. I will
Cleveland.
take the Guardians for sure.
Yeah.
Houston's bullpen is getting real good.
Houston's bullpen is getting good, but Hader had another blow up. Now it's Hader, so that's fine.
I
Are you
might take the
taking
Phillies. I probably would take the Dodgers. Dodgers have a very good bullpen.
I
Padres have a
disagree.
very good bullpen.
I would lean San Diego. My thought was, okay, the surefire ones are Cleveland, Philly.
I think Philly's surefire. You're latching on a Philly like that is
Philly
surefire.
surefire
I
because you
would
have
take Dodgers and Padres over Philly.
No, my surefire are Guardians, Phillies, Padres. Then after that, I run into some issues. Maybe Houston, and then Arizona's like right there in that next
You
conversation.
don't think the Padres bullpen is better?
No, I think the Padres are up for discussion.
Okay. But regardless, the Brewers bullpen, I think, is better.
Yeah, that's up for discussion. Again, like
Yeah.
I just think
They're
Puck
all
has
in
been
there.
unreal.
Yeah.
Martinez throws like fuel. I don't know. It's a conversation.
It is a
So
conversation, absolutely.
what was your other takeaway?
My other takeaway is small. I just want to applaud Ketel Marte. I mean, what a year. What a year he's had. 35 jacks, 7 steals. He's slashing 295, 374, 566, 940 OPS this year. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think he's the most underappreciated superstar in Major League Baseball. It's just a
Yeah.
freak talent. And if you had any worries about what he's going to do in the postseason, he has the longest hit streak in postseason history. This dude is an absolute monster and should be up there with the greatest players in baseball right now. He is fantastic.
Yep. Let's go to the next series we've got, which is Cleveland and St. Louis in St. Louis. St. Louis took 2 of 3 here. Game 1, 5-1 Cleveland. Jose Ramirez stole his 40th base, hit his 36th homer in a 3-for-4 day. Andres Jimenez, Lane Thomas also went yard for Cleveland. Ben Lively, 5 innings, a 1-run ball. He K'd 2. Game 2, 6-5 St. Louis. It was 2-1 through 6. St. Louis had a 4-run bottom of the 7th. Cleveland responded with a 4-run top of the 8th. Jordan Walker, Ivan Herrera, homer for St. Louis. Bo Naylor homered for Cleveland. Jose Ramirez homered his 37th, and he doubled. Ryan Helsley is so gross. I just wrote Helsley, disgusting. 46 save. He struck out the side in order. Game 3, 2-1 St. Louis. Helsley got his 47th save on the heels of Andre Palante. 7 innings of 1 hit, 1-run ball. He K'd 4. Palante might be the gold standard of the get-outs guys right now. He's there.
He's up there.
There.
I mean, he has
Gavin
one of the
Williams,
highest ground ball rates in baseball. He just keeps the ball on the ground, throws strikes. He's a good pitcher.
He's a good pitcher. Gavin Williams, 5 2/3, 1 run. This was an encouraging start from
Very.
Gavin Williams. I firmly believe that. I think JRAM 40-40 watch is at the top of my totem pole in terms of things that I want to watch for the final week of the season. You're laughing.
Do you
Like,
want to just do this podcast by yourself? I
that's
mean, I
fine.
don't even
Yeah,
know what
I'll
to do.
monologue it. Do you want to leave the Zoom? You can always leave.
Why don't you just throw it over to me for my takeaway instead of just taking everything? Yes.
Hey, Peter, I want to say something about Jose Ramirez, but you should steal that, and then I'll come back and get creative.
I want the attention. And I
Yes.
also want more attention on the 40-40 chase for Jose Ramirez. I know that Shohei's 52, 53, or whatever he's at now. It changes every single day. I know he hit his 53rd home run.
Real quick interjection here. You guys can stop tweeting. Shohei Ohtani now introduced the 52-52 club. I get it.
No, I'm in that. I
No,
want that.
I'm so out. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani now stands alone in the 53-57 club.
No, you're being a Grinch.
Stop,
we have
please.
to appreciate every single thing that he's doing right now because it's historic. Like I'm all for the Shohei's the greatest of all time. Like all of these narratives, I'm here for it.
He is. It like 50-50 was the thing that like is proving that. I don't need 53-53 on Twitter because it's engagement farming, I think.
But regardless, here's what we do need. We need more engagement farming on freaking Jose Ramirez trying to go for 40-40. 37 jacks, 40 stolen bases. Like the 40-40 club, I know it's been joined recently by Ronald Acuna Jr. and then Shohei Ohtani, but there was only a handful of guys in the history of baseball before these guys did it. And Jose Ramirez is just 3 home runs away with 7 or 8 games left to play. He can get there and become one of the, I think it's 7th or 8th player in the history to do 40-40. We need to be talking about this because if it weren't for Judge and Bobby Witt, Jose Ramirez would be right up there in the MVP conversation. He's just been unbelievable. Unbelievable once again because he is one of the greatest players of our generation.
While I do the next series, can you pull up the 40-40 club? I want to trivia myself. I want to quiz myself to see if I can get all 40-40 members. But we'll go to Minnesota and Boston here. And this, I got to check on game 3 because this was a doubleheader on Sunday. Game 1, 4-2 Minnesota in 12, 1-1 through 11. Twins had a 3 spot in the top of the 12th. Tyler O'Neill 0 for 5 with 4 Ks in this one. You always look for like the runt of the game. It's like who struck out a bunch in this one? And I think you give Tyler O'Neill enough ABs, he's going to K 4 times. So he was wearing the golden sombrero in that one. David Festa, 5 innings, a 1-run ball. Richard Fitz, 5 scoreless, 3 Ks. Richard Fitz on a 15 and two-thirds scoreless inning streak to open his career. 17 combined pitchers used in that one. Game 2 was game 1 of the doubleheader on Sunday. It was 8-1 Red Sox. Tristan Casas with the 3-homer game, 7 RBIs. He got the 3 homers early. We were on 4-homer game watch with Casas, 2 of which came off Pablo Lopez, who went 4 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs. Nick Pivetta, 5 innings, 1 unearned run. Minnesota had 0 extra base hits in that one. And then game 2, 9-3 Boston. Boston 9 runs on 10 hits. Romy Gonzalez, it looked like, homered. Zebby Matthews 4 2/3, 1 run, 6 Ks. That was the best start of his career to this point. Cutter Crawford 7 2/3, a 3-run ball. He K'd 7 and didn't walk anyone. My takeaway from this series, as I pull up the American League wildcard standings as they update live, Minnesota is a game out. They are dead in the water. Minnesota is done. I mean, dude, what about their performance has encouraged you over the last 2 weeks?
Absolutely nothing, but I know better than to call any team dead in the last few games.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
I mean,
latching on to take Scott now. Like Minnesota's cashed at this point.
I mean, I understand when we're talking about the month of September, right? We were crushing the Royals. Angels and the Marlins have a higher WRC plus than the Twins. The Twins and the Nationals are tied for 24th in Major League Baseball during that span. If they don't hit, they're done. If they don't hit, they're done. Because the starting pitching is good, right? Pablo Lopez is awesome and has been great in the second half. Bailey Ober is either unbelievable.
Got blown up on Sunday, Pablo.
I know. No, I'm just kind of going through the picture of the Twins in my head.
Okay.
That Pablo Lopez needs to be dynamite. Bailey Ober needs to be dynamite because the rest of their rotation is not good enough for me to trust them yet. And then the bullpen, there's 3 arms back there that I really trust. It's Duran, it's Jax, and it's Sands. And if either of them don't have a good outing, it's really tough because the rest of the bullpen, I don't trust. They have to hit. They have not hit. And I agree with you based on what we have seen over the last month. The Twins should be dead in the water, but no way am I saying that they're dead yet. No way, because nobody's playing that good except the Tigers. I mean, the Mariners are actually got to get back into this, but everybody's just trying their best to be as mid as humanly possible. So it's just a few games, right? If the Twins go 4-3 and the Royals fall out of it and the Mariners, the Twins are in, right? They don't even have to play that good of baseball. So if I'm a Twins fan, just be like, we're shooting for above average because I think that's all it's going to take.
So brutal. Minnesota has, Miami at home, and then over the weekend, they have Baltimore at home.
The Orioles aren't playing anything either.
Orioles are not playing good ball right now. You're right. Every team is just so average right now.
They're all bad. Everyone's bad this year. Is there really a great team in Major League Baseball this year? You can say the Dodgers or the Phillies or the Yankees.
Dude. I mean, the Dodgers are first team all injured list.
They can lose to anybody. That's why nobody's dead. But you're right. You didn't say anything wrong.
You're right, but you're so wrong.
You're right, but you're wrong because they all suck. They just the teams that have the least amount of suck are gonna make it.
Yeah. You make a nice point. Do you have the 40-40 club up?
I do.
How many members?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Shohei Ohtani is now the 6th member of the 40-40 club.
6th. Okay, this should be relatively easy. Jose Canseco was the first one to do it. 40-40.
Bang, 1988. And did you see his tweet? He invented it, according to Jose Canseco. You know what I found out?
First, he did it.
You know what? He follows me on Twitter. I didn't even know that. I had a follow back
Canseco?
button. Yeah, I didn't know that. But I think he follows 60,000 people on Twitter.
Oh, wait, well, I'm not one of them.
Well, not cool enough, I guess.
I know. All right, so Jose Canseco was the first. Acuna, the easy one. Ohtani is number 6.
Yep.
Let's go. Alex Rodriguez was 40-40.
Bang. Alex Rodriguez in 1998 went 42-46.
Yeah. Alfonso Soriano was 40-40.
In 2006, 46 jacks, 41 stolen bases.
When he was with Texas. I think he was the second baseman for the Texas Rangers, which is sick. One more. Is it Bonds? Did Bonds do it?
And Jack goes 6 for 6. Barry Bonds in 1996, 42 jacks, 40 stolen bases.
That's a huge W. Now, let me tell you about the Chicago White Sox. Speaking of huge W's.
Yeah.
San Diego sweeps because, yeah, right?
Yeah.
The White
They're the
Sox went to
worst
San
team
Diego.
ever.
I mean, dude, of course they swept, right? Game
Right.
one, 3-2 San Diego in 10, a walk-off double for Fernando Tatis in the bottom of the 10th inning. Lenine Sosa locked that bitch up with a 2-run homer with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Garrett Crochet, 4 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and 8 Ks. He was awesome, but of course he was on a pitch count. Joe Musgrove, 6 shutout innings, 4 hits, no walks, and 9 Ks. Game two, 6-2 San Diego. Xander, David Peralta, Elias Diaz homered for San Diego. Lenine Sosa, we in here at 2 for 3 days, sick. Chris Flexen sucked. Martin Perez, 5 and a third, 2 hits because everybody does that against this team, including Martin Perez. Game four, 4-2 San Diego. It was a 3-run 8th inning from the Padres. Corey Lee, Miguel Vargas homered early for the White Sox. Jurickson Profar homered off Sean Burke, who was awesome. Burke, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, and 8 Ks. The heater ran up to 97.9. But then Fernando Tatis homered in a 3-run 8th. Yu Darvish K'd 9, 6 and a third, a 2-run ball, including his 2000th career strikeout. Huge congratulations to Yu Darvish on that front. The Chicago White Sox are 36 and 120. The record for most losses in a major league season in the modern era is 120. It is the 2024 Chicago White Sox, and I do believe the 1961 New York Mets, who went 40 and 120. They had 2 games canceled. If the White Sox lose 1 of their last 6, they have the most losses in a baseball season that the world has ever seen. Think about that. There's been a lot of baseball. Cooperstown has a lot of money go into it every year. That's a
I
really
know.
nice museum.
And I've been, I'm on Baseball Reference looking at 1880s baseball. Like, yep, they are the worst ever. And we've been having the sport for like 150
Yeah.
years.
Like Abner Doubleday was not born in 1984, people. Like
Nope.
this game's been around a long time,
Yep.
and we've never seen somebody this bad.
They have a negative 320 run differential. Do you know how insane that is? They haven't played 160 games left in the season, which means that they are losing on average by 2 runs a game, every game. Not even getting close. On average, they lose by 2 runs. It's an average game for them. It's unbelievable.
It's
The next
unreal.
closest, the next closest on the minus run differential leaderboard, the Colorado Rockies and the Miami Marlins are dead even at minus 223.
It's 100 runs better.
100 runs worse than the Marlins and the Rockies, who are also gonna lose 100 games. Like, that's to put that in perspective. The Marlins and the Rockies have been horrible, terrible, 100-game loser seasons. Doesn't happen all the time. The White Sox are 100 runs worse than terrible.
You know what my favorite part about this season is? They fell backwards into a 1 in Major League Baseball. Like they pulled out of their ass an all-star starting pitcher, and they're still the worst team in baseball history. How does that happen?
Can I read you a Twitter exchange that I had over DMs that is hilarious
Yeah, sure.
looking back? So I got a DM. Danny Camarena, White Sox optimist, is in his bio.
Okay.
March 3rd, 2023. Pete, can you give me some hope as a White Sox fan? I think we're a 94 plus win team. Just want to hear it from somebody else. And I said, it's such a boomer bust team. You have all the talent to do it. Just got to stay healthy. They could win 90 or lose 90. Going to be a crazy year. He goes, I think Rafal is the truth. I think having real outfielders and a competent coaching staff outweighs what we lost with Abreu. And those guys got something to prove. He DM'd me today and said, I should be burned at the stakes for these predictions. Looking back on this, it's like before the season, we didn't know that they were going to be the worst team in
No,
team
we thought they were going to be
existence.
a 90 loss team, but like 120 of them?
I should be burned at the stake for these predictions
So,
is the wildest DM I've ever gotten.
that's so good. I love that he like kept receipts of his own 2
Yeah.
years later, and it's
He
like,
got
this
back to it,
team
was like,
sucks.
and he got back to it, was like, oh my God, I cannot believe these came out of my mouth. So shout out Danny. Shout out Danny.
We
Next year,
love you,
man.
man.
Next year we're gonna win 50. And then we go. And then we
I'm in.
win
Then
60 the
we
year
go.
after.
Then
Then
we go.
70. And by 2037, 100 wins.
It's like the high school football coach, like, or the player. I think I got my swagger back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I think that's what the White Sox are going to be in 2034, which I'm really excited about.
It's gonna be fun.
All right, we're going to get to Peter's series in a moment. Before that, we're going to take one more quick break.
All right, my turn. Let's talk Tigers versus Orioles. Orioles fans, shade your eyes. Tigers fans, get fired up. Game 1, though, Orioles did win 7-1. Anthony Santander has been a freak all year long. Went 420 to get us started, and then Colton Cowser went 412 in the second inning. Both hit jacks. Then James McCann follows suit. Home run goes 420 to center. Then Colton Cowser again, this time 417 feet. We ain't done yet. James McCann, another homer. This time it was a soft 391. But there was a bunch of home runs from the Orioles side. It was good to get their offense going because they needed it. The Orioles offense has been the major issue of this team in their kind of dry spell here, but it's also so good to see Burns just shove like that. 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 8 Ks. His ERA is down to 2.95. He needed some good starts to build some momentum into the playoffs, and that he has. Game 2, banger of a game. Tigers win 6-4 in 10 innings. It was a 2-2 tie after the 6th. Tigers take the lead in the 8th on RBIs from Jake Rogers and Colt Keith, but then Gunnar Henderson ties it up in the bottom of the 9th with a 2-run double. But then we go to the 10th. Riley Green, Zach McKinstry, RBIs in the 10th were the difference. Reese Olson, big time name, working his way back. 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. And Cade Povich was perfectly fine. 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned, 7 Ks, but Tigers grabbed the win. Game 3. All comes down to this. Tigers win 4-3. Torque started the game with a home run. Trey Sweeney had an RBI double. Then Kerry Carpenter homered to give the Tigers a 3-0 lead. Now, Cedric Mullins did homer, and Westberg tied it up with an RBI double. But Kerry Carpenter says, this game is mine. Homers, takes the lead in the 6th, and it was over. Another bullpen masterclass by the Tigers. Ty Madden was the lone pitcher to allow runs, and he came in after the opener. And Albert Suarez was not very good. 5 innings, 4 earned. He did have 6 Ks. His ERA is at 3.74. Tigers win. And they're right in the thick of it, moving to 82-74. Orioles fall to 86-70. The Orioles and the Detroit Tigers are separated by 4 games, folks.
Wow.
Wow.
And that tells you how bad the Orioles have been for a little bit. Not bad, but like how average they've been for the last, 3-4 months?
I told you the teams that are going to make the playoffs just have the least amount of suck. The Orioles just got to not have enough suck to outsuck the other teams sucking.
Do you
we
like
get
that?
it now?
Like, do you like that? Do you like where we're at?
No, I hate
this
it.
Year? I hate it too.
Okay, I hate it, but I'm also entertained. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. I'm entertained.
It's chaos. It's
pure
chaos.
I think I'm entertained because it's like everybody's punching at their own weight, but it's like, why watch the flyweight boxing match when I can watch the heavyweight boxing match? Because I like big men falling. I like knockouts. Like the flyweight is like, oh, who was more technically sound? This feels like a flyweight type of season when it comes to contenders. Now, this is uber heavyweight when it comes to individuals this year. Like this baseball season has been driven by individual performance. By team performance, this has been a very underwhelming season. I think Baltimore embodies that, where it's like, you think Baltimore's this wagon. They're not that good this year.
No,
nobody's Gunner,
that good.
But Gunner is amazing. Like Gunnar Henderson has become a superstar.
Anthony Santander has 43 jacks this
Exactly,
season.
dude. We're talking about individuals, but it's like, the Orioles are not that good.
And it's so funny. Like the Tigers have been unbelievable, right? They're baseball's hottest team. And the Mets, too. Like I would say the American League version of the Mets. The 2 hottest teams in Major League Baseball. The Tigers, while they've been so hot, they're beating everybody. They have a 96 WRC plus in September.
Yeah.
Like they're not hitting their way to it. The other teams just can't hit that bullpen. This bullpen is standing on its head. And I would say, it's because of Tyler Holton. It's because, no, it's all of them. They're all amazing.
And it's long men too, man. Like
All
Bo
of them.
Brisky is going 2 as an opener, and then Brant Herter is going 5 1/3 scoreless as the long man.
As long as Kenta Maeda just isn't there, like they're amazing.
Kent is throwing like 2 scoreless at the back of these games sometimes. It's
Sometimes, sometimes.
fascinating to
Yeah,
me.
I agree.
So
I don't even know what to say because it's like
the,
a new guy just comes in and I'm thinking, okay, he just threw one scoreless, then another guy one scoreless, and they keep piling it on each other. If they get a lead, the game's over.
I mean, they're calling themselves the Gritty Tigers, and
I
like
like that.
that's what they are, man. They're the Gritty Tigers.
They are. They are. I mean, it's insane that a team can be the hottest team in baseball with a 96 WRC plus. I mean, they're below the Blue Jays.
It's half the game, man. Pitching's half the game.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we're going to the next series. Braves versus Marlins. Braves needed a sweep here. They did win 2 out of 3, but the Marlins win game 1, 4-3. The Braves' run of 6 straight NL East titles comes to an end because the Marlins got out to a 3-run lead after first inning RBIs from Jake Berger, Kyle Stowers, and Jonah Bride. Orlando Arcia and Ramon Laureano homered for Atlanta, but it just wasn't enough. Morton was fine. 6 innings, 4 earned. Beloza was better. 5 1/3, 3 earned. His ERA is down to 3.82. If you ask me how he's doing it, I don't know, but he's doing it. Because when I watch him pitch, I cannot believe people are tattooing him. But that's baseball for you. He's doing his best and he's shoving, and he just beat the damn Braves. Game 2, Braves win 6-2. 2-1 Braves lead after 5, highlighted by a Jorge Soler home run. Matt Olson and Gio Urshela both homered in the 7th to extend the lead. Matt Olson's been on a freaking heater lately. Max Fried dominant. 6 innings, 1 earned, 6 Ks, ERA to 3.42. And again, we were looking for Fried to kind of build some momentum into the playoffs. That he has 2.88 ERA in September for Max Fried. Game 3, Braves, we got to win. And they do. Welcome back. Ozzy Albies hit a solo shot to start. Jake Berger and Jonah Bride respond with dingers, but the Braves take the lead off RBIs from Michael Harris and Matt Olson. Again, Norby, Jesus Sanchez for the Marlins both hit solo shots to tie it, but a Jorge Soler infield single to the pitcher to score Michael Harris ended up being the difference in the 7th. Braves win 5-4. They win and move to 85 and 71. Marlins fall to 57 and 99. And as we look at the National League wildcard race, the Braves 1.5 back, but they have won 6 of their last 4 games. They actually have a better run differential than the Mets, but the Mets won't stop losing. So the Braves need one of these teams between the Mets and the D-backs because the Padres are pretty much in. They've won 90 games. D-backs are a half game above the Mets. Mets are a game and a half up over the Braves.
Yeah.
And I think they play each other at the end.
Mets and Braves do play each other.
Yes, they do. That's going to be box office
No,
must watch in Atlanta.
It's well, what's awesome about it is Ryan Finkelstein, who I know I've seen a lot of positive messages about Fink joining us sporadically on the Just Baseball show as the season has gone on. Fink he essentially pitched himself. He was
Yeah.
like, I'm here if you want me. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna take you tomorrow. So he's gonna be on tomorrow's show. We have to do it.
I kind of want to talk to Fink though because I love trolling Fink.
He might be willing to come on a second time this week. We'll see.
We might have to have him on, but it's not fair to the audience just to regurgitate the same situation. Just have like me troll him.
Yeah, but like you could do it after the Mets Braves series.
We'll see. We'll definitely have him probably on. Hopefully the Mets make the playoffs, so he's a consistent guy on the show.
We've got options here. So I don't really have anything from this series. What I will say is Atlanta needed to do this.
Yes.
If they drop 2 of 3, like I was going to do the Twins thing, and I was just going to eulogize them a week before, and when they're not mathematically eliminated, but Atlanta needed to do this. I don't love that they didn't sweep, to be honest with you.
My takeaway for Atlanta is the front 4 in the Braves lineup has been very, very good. Now, I know that the Braves offense, they deserve all of the hate because they have been probably the most disappointing unit in Major League Baseball this season. If we're talking about expectations, what a team can do, now it's not all of their fault. A lot of injuries certainly don't help. It's like half the roster has gone down to injury. So again, it's not like completely their fault, but it is what it is at this point. We were expecting the Braves. BetMGM gave them a 103 win total. We were expecting the offense to be just unbelievably prolific, and they haven't been. But lately, Mike Harris is starting to hit the ball a lot better. Jorge Soler's been hitting the ball. Ozuna is still doing his thing, and Matt Olson finally looks like Matt Olson. So if they have those 4 guys hitting, And then you get some contributions at the end there, notably Laureano and Gio Urshela, who haven't been that good, but were good in this series. With that pitching, they can make some noise if they make it, and they are running out of time. So that series against the Mets, I think that's going to decide it. And the Braves have to dominate that series in order to get in.
Yeah. Austin Riley could have his cast removed today. He's getting a cast off. He's not playing this week. Yeah. That would be a huge thing if it was like, oh, Austin Riley's back.
Ozzy
Wow.
Albies, though, is back, which is huge.
I know.
That's huge for this team.
No doubt.
All right, let's move on to the next series. Nationals versus Cubs. Game 1, Cubs win 7-6. It was a back and forth game. Seiya homered for the Cubs. Joey Gallo homered for the Nats. 6-5 Nationals lead in the 6th, but Bellinger drove in a run to tie it. Then Paredes grabs an RBI on a fielder's choice to take the lead. It was all Cubs offense, really. Ian Happ, Dansby Swanson, Seiya Suzuki, and Cody Bellinger combined to go 10 for 16 with 7 runs scored and 5 RBIs. We move to game 2. Short one. Cubs win 3-1. Dansby Swanson homered again to start the game. Mike Tauchman drove in 2 to make the score 3-0. Now, James Wood took a tank, 421, but it just wasn't enough because Jamison Tyone, 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned, 4 Ks, ERA down to 3.41. Now, Shota Ibenaga has been the best pitcher for the Cubs this year. But he hasn't been healthy all year. Hasn't thrown a ton of innings. Justin Steele, the bona fide ace, and still is, banged up this year. Tyone has stepped in and has been awesome for Chicago. Game 3, though, Nationals did win, and it was the Mackenzie Gore show. Jack, we needed to see it, and we saw it. 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned, 9 Ks. That's the Gore we know. Nationals got out to a 5-0 lead, highlighted by another Joey Gallo home run. And Patrick Wisdom hit a home run in the 7th, but it just wasn't enough. Game 4, Cubs win 5-0. And remember that guy I was talking about, Shota? Yeah, he dominated. 7 innings, 6 hits, no earned, 4 Ks, ERA down to 2.91. What a season. Mike Tauchman, Michael Busch, Miguel Amaya all went yard, and Seiya Suzuki had an RBI single. Jake Irvin, another bad start. 4 innings, 5 earned, ERA to 4.22. It's been a really bad second half for him. Cubs win the series 3-1, move to 80-76. Nationals fall to 69-87. Really tough for the Cubs. They were right there, but they just didn't have enough to get them over the top.
Yeah, I think Cubs fans, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Cubs fans like lost faith in, like they ticked up in August. I want to say like mid-August. But right after that halted, I think they lost faith there. And it was like, yeah, we're just not going to do it this year.
I did kind of feel that. But it was like it's kind of that meme. So you're saying there's a chance.
Right.
I felt it was kind of, they decided their fate already. And then just were like, we probably won't make it. At least let's be excited about this potentially. Yeah. And I like that from fans, right?
No doubt. I also think that like the bedrock was just kind of pessimism at a certain point this year where it was like, oh, we're underperforming. This feels like an underperformance from the Chicago Cubs. It does.
It's tough, man, when Steele goes down like that. Like he's their guy.
No doubt.
Know? I mean, if he goes down, the offense was good, not great. Defense was good, not great. Starting pitching
Dansby being as bad as he was this year was a nail in the coffin.
Yeah, it really was. There's just not enough impact at the plate. They were all fine. And fine ain't going to get you much. It's going to get you an 80-76 record.
Correct. So I feel like this was an underperformance from the Cubs. I love to see that Gore start. We can talk about the CJ Abrams thing quickly.
Oh, yeah. I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, I don't think we're offering any groundbreaking thoughts. If this was a one-off, I don't agree with them optioning him to the minor leagues. If this was just like one thing and he was a hard worker and just had like one night where he was out, there have been a lot of baseball players that have done that have been out since like until 8 a.m. before a day game. In the history of our game, there have been guys that have done a lot worse than sit at a roulette table and play on the outside of the roulette table. Having said that, like, I understand the idea of, hey, we're going to set a precedent and you should be really excited to show up to the ballpark and put work in with a James Wood, with a Dylan Cruz, Mackenzie Gore's on the mound, that kind of thing. I think that's really important. If this was something that, and I have no idea, like I don't know what was reported on this. All I know that was reported was that he was allegedly at that casino until 8 a.m. If that's a one-off thing and Abrams is a very hard worker, then like I don't see the point in optioning him. I see the point in sitting him for 3 games, but not optioning him. If this was something that you were worried could become a habit and it was going to bleed into your other young stars, then I get it. That's where I stand on this whole thing. I'm not going to say, oh, he's a terrible person because he went to a casino and stayed out late. That's not true at
Yeah,
all.
I agree. No, I agree with everything that you said there, and I wish we knew if it was just a
A common
one-time
occurrence. If
thing.
this was a common occurrence, again, like I get it. Like get him out of there and like show him that this is not okay.
The only small thing I disagreed with you is I do want to give the Nationals a little bit of credit here, but again, I don't know the full story. So from what I know, I am going to give the Nationals a little bit of credit because they're clearly trying to establish something,
Yeah, for
a
sure.
precedent. We have a young core. They're all coming up at the same time. Young guys in baseball, they kind of do whatever they want. I think what they're doing is they're sending a message here with CJ Abrams,
Yeah,
right, to the rest of the team. So
absolutely.
even if it was just a one-time occurrence, I doubt it really happens again to these Nationals young players.
Right.
Right? They saw that there is a no tolerance policy. It does seem right. Maybe it isn't a no tolerance policy. Maybe CJ Abrams has been doing this a bunch and they decided this is too much. We have to send you down now to send a message. Or if it's a one-time thing, I don't know. But what I feel like I do know is that the Nationals have decided this is the precedent. If you screw up like this, you're done.
And I
We
can,
want to build something amazing here. You are a
right.
part of it. Learn from this, come back next year, and be a part of this incredible core.
And I can fully appreciate the Washington Nationals setting a standard
Me
here.
too.
I think it's really important. The other thing that I'm like, why, dude, is this is like as exciting a situation to be in baseball for eliminated teams. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about the eliminated teams right now. Like the eliminated teams that I'm keeping tabs on, Tampa through the end of the season because I think they have some stuff cooking in that pitching staff. And Washington, dude, like you get another week of Wood, Cruz, and Abrams. Now you don't get Abrams. And it's like, damn, that stinks.
Yeah. No, I see
So,
what you're saying. But I I think this is to be good for them moving
yeah.
forward. I think overall this is like people trashing Abrams. Like, shut up. Like you don't
No.
know the full story. I mean, like, it's a young
Also,
guy
like,
going
why
to
are
the
you better
casino
than him?
when his team's eliminated. Like,
Right. Like,
give the kid a damn break.
I just don't understand the moral high horse thing. Like, why are you better than him?
I don't know, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's Twitter.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Mariners versus Rangers. Mariners needed a series win and they got it. Mariners win 8-2 in the first game. Josh Rojas started the scoring for Seattle with a home run, had 2 RBIs in this game. J-Rod homered on back-to-back ABs. Dude, when J-Rod gets good, it's crazy. He doesn't get out. So yeah, he homered twice on back-to-back ABs. Nathaniel Lowe had a 2-run single, was the only scoring for Texas. George Kirby was great. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned. DeGrom was also pretty solid. 3 innings, 1 run, 5 Ks. But then Jack Leiter came in and was not good. 5 innings, 6 earned. Game 2, Mariners win 8-4. And guess who homered again to start it? J-Rod. Josh H. Smith homered to tie it back up. Guess who gave them the lead? J-Rod, another RBI single, a part of a 3-run inning for Seattle. Now, the Rangers got close in the 6th, adding 2. Mariners score 3 in the 9th. Guess who was headlined by? J-Rod, 2-run single. This guy's insane. Game 3, Rangers win 6-5, and this was a massive comeback by Texas. Mariners had a 5-0 lead after the top of the 6th, highlighted by a Cal Raleigh home run. Rangers claw all the way back, highlighted by a 3-run big-time home run from Wyatt Langford and a solo shot from Leody Taveras. Tie game in the 9th. Marcus Semien walks it off. RBI single. Brian Wu and Andrew Heaney both allowed 4 earned. Not great. Mariners win and move to 80 and 76. Rangers fall to 74 and 82. And as we sit here today, Jack McMullen, Mariners are 2 games out.
Julio doing Julio things. It's about damn time.
You know what's this is kind of Yankees propaganda at the same time. So Julio Rodriguez, I saw he has a 216 WRC plus this month. That's Aaron Judge's WRC plus this year.
On the season.
Yeah. Kind of sick.
It's kind of awesome for a team to get it for a month. The Yankees have just gotten it for 6.
Yeah. But that goes to show, like, J-Rod's hottest month when J-Rod is peak, that's Aaron Judge always.
No doubt. The problem is we get it for 1 month in a given season or 2 months in a given season, at least over the last 2 years for Julio Rodriguez. If he finds something that is subdued from this, but still darn good for 6 months, we're talking about one of the best players in baseball. And I know we were firmly like convinced that he was going to be one of the best players in baseball. I still firmly believe it. He's 23 years old, Julio
I
Rodriguez.
I am gonna bet on him to win MVP every year until he retires because I know he's gonna win a couple and the odds are gonna reflect it.
The ability that this guy has in his game is what you are seeing in the month of September.
Yep.
He turned himself into an elite defender in center field, and he is one of the better power speed threats in Major League Baseball when he's right. Problem is, he just hasn't been right for 4 out of 6 months each of the last 2 seasons. I'm excited to see what kind of right for 6 months looks like for Julio Rodriguez, and I really hope that's in 2025.
And I do want to remind everybody because just because Julio is getting hot doesn't mean that the rest of the Mariners offense has been terrible, right? We
Right.
talked about Victor Robles has been great. Talked about Cal Raleigh. They've had Luke Raley, like other contributors in this lineup.
Yeah.
Seattle Mariners have the #1 WRC plus in the month of September.
Mm.
Kind of sick.
Mm-hmm.
So they are definitely not out of it, right? If we're talking about hot offenses, and we know they have the pitching, Tigers, the Mariners are on your heels. Twins, Mariners are on your heels. They can do this. If their offense keeps hitting like this and J-Rod keeps hitting like this, it's not impossible.
Twins are toast, dude.
It ain't over till it's over. Yeah, but
Yeah,
the Twins
it's
could go
over
like
for the
4-3 and still figure out how to get it.
It's over for the Twins.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yankees versus A's is our next series. And I wouldn't say that the Yankees needed a sweep, but they damn got it. Yankees win 4-2 in 10 innings in game one. It was a 1-1 tie going into extra innings. And the only runs that were scored were from RBIs from Shea Langeliers for Oakland and Anthony Volpe for the Yankees. But the Yankees put up 3 in the 10th, highlighted by RBIs from Juan Soto and Anthony Volpe. Now, JJ Bleday had an RBI single in the 10th, but it just wasn't enough. And this was what I needed. I needed it from Garrett Cole. 9 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, 7 Ks. ERA is down to 3.67. Needed it. Got it. Garrett Cole. Oh, baby. JT Ginn. He was fine. 5 innings, 1 run. No, he's actually pretty good. ERA down to 4.40. All right, let's move to game 2 of the series. Rodon needed a good start out of you. What do you get? 6 innings, 5 hits, no earned, 4 Ks. ERA's down to 3.98. The Yankees won 10-0 because the Yankees offense went insane against former Yankee JP Sears, who gave up 6 earned in 5 innings. Anthony Volpe, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge all hit home runs. And Gleyber Torres stays hot, man. So good to see him hit like he has since he moved to the leadoff role. 3 hits and 2 RBIs for him. Game 4, Yankees win 7-4. Now, Tyler Soderstrom started the scoring with a 2-run double for Oakland, but then Jason Dominguez, Aaron Judge, and Gleyber Torres all hit home runs. Yankees grab a 5-2 lead. Now, the A's close the gap with a 2-run double for Ryan Noda, but RBIs from Giancarlo Stanton and Austin Wells were the daggers. Luis Gil, not great. 5 1/3, 4 earned, 5 Ks, ERA to 3.27. So when we look at the American League Rookie of the Year race, Luis Gil is still your favorite with Colton Cowser and Austin Wells right behind him. I don't know who's going to win Rookie of the Year at this point. Like the books have made Luis Gil a favorite. I still think Wells. But again,
I think Wells.
I mean, Cowser's been great too, but I would just still give it to the catcher. I think he's been more important, but Luis Gil has been fantastic. So I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
I think Wells. My thing, you mentioned it, good on you. Now taking the takes, so I need to recycle something. That was a tremendous and necessary clapback start after the Devers fiasco.
Yeah.
For Cole. Like it was so necessary.
He was just, I mean, he was vintage. And I know it's the A's, but the A's can hit.
The A's
aren't bad because they can't hit. The A's are
And-
bad because they don't have any starting pitching, and outside
Right.
of Mason Miller, the bullpen has been gutted.
Right.
Like
And
they can hit.
And what I will say is last week on the Just Baseball show, we did one thing to watch for the final 10 games for each team. And my Yankee thing to watch was Garrett Cole needs to see one go through, like a 3-point shooter who starts over 10. He was really good, and then he had that blip start. He needed one more good vibe start to get himself right before every pitch matters, and he saw one go through. That was nylon from deep.
Complete game 2-hitter. Like that's gonna
Not
fly.
complete game because they went 10.
Technically, you're correct.
Yeah,
But
9
also,
innings.
for my mind and my narrative and my emotions, it was a complete game.
I was looking at the box because I went to bed. I was a sleepy boy, but Howard Kelman, my broadcast partner in Indy, was filling in as the Yankee play-by-play guy on radio that game. And I looked at the box when I woke up. I was like, was there a world where Cole could have gone the 10th? Because he was at 99 pitches in 9 innings. I understand why he wasn't going
Yeah,
10th.
I mean, he doesn't need
There's
to
no need.
in
There's no
that
need.
game like that because also like the Yankees, yeah, I
And
mean,
like turn to bullpen ace Luke Weaver because that guy's been awesome.
unbelievably great.
It's crazy.
Unbelievably good. Jake Cousins unfortunately just went down with an injury, which we hate. Canely and yeah, I mean, I just I can't believe Luke Weaver's good. Like I watched him be the worst pitcher ever on the Reds.
I can't
Shout out
believe
Brian
Luke
Cashman,
Weaver's
man.
good. Think
I
about
can't
it.
believe it. We signed him and I was like, what are we thinking? And what was I thinking by doubting it? Guy's been
Yeah.
so good. I mean, there was like 98 now. Got in the Yankees pitching lab. All right, let's go to also Yankees are now 92 and 64. They're they're the best team in the American League.
Yeah.
Go to Rockies versus Dodgers. One of these games was my Super Bowl. Game 1, Dodgers win 6-4. Rockies had a 2-0 lead through 5 innings, highlighted by a Charlie Blackmon home run. Andy Pajes and Shohei Ohtani homered, and that lead was gone. Sam Hilliard homered to tie it, but then Teoscar said nope and homered to take the lead. Dodgers scored a few more. Michael Toglia hit a home run for the Rockies, but that was that. Game 2, my Super Bowl. Cal Quantrill takes on Walker Buehler. Rockies win 6-3. Rockies grabbed a 3-0 lead on RBIs from Michael Toglia and Ezekiel Tovar. Now, Mookie Betts homered, but Ryan McMahon and Charlie Blackmon answered with home runs of their own. Quantrill went 4 2/3, 3 earned, 5 Ks. Buehler did settle down after a tough start, 5 1/3, 4 earned, but he had 9 punchouts.
More cutters. Yep.
More cutters. We move to game 3. Dodgers win 6-5 in a banger of a game. Rockies get out to a 4-0 lead on RBIs from Brendan Rodgers, Nolan Jones, and then Nolan Jones again. Teoscar Hernandez homered again to make the score 4-1. Dodgers are down now 5-1 in the 7th before Kike Hernandez hits a 2-run home run and Freddie had an RBI single. Ohtani home run in the 9th to tie it, his 53rd of the season, and then Mookie Betts calls game. Home run to win it in the bottom of the 9th. Yamamoto was not good. It's very rare these days that you're going to see a bad Yamamoto start. 3 innings, 4 earned, 4 Ks. His ERA ballooned to 2.96. Dodgers win and move to 93 and 63. Rockies fall to 60 and 96. We haven't really recapped Shohei getting to 50-50. And I know it wasn't in this series, it was again in the series against the Marlins.
Yeah.
But so when it happened, I was eating dinner right in my apartment. I was watching the game and I'm watching it like I'm watching it around the bases. And when someone does something truly amazing, like I thought that was that game, the 6 for 6, 10 RBIs, like that was the greatest game I've ever seen from a player.
Yes.
While reaching 50-50. And when those things happen, it brings out the little boy in me that fell in love with baseball, where I'm watching something so in awe. And I was tweeting out a storm like, give me your wildest Ohtani take. Like, I'll agree with it. Like, if you think he should be president of the United States, I could hear you out. I'm here for that. Like,
It's
he
tough.
is just
Yeah.
so unbelievable in every facet of the game. And I cannot wait to see what he looks like as a pitcher. Because in his one season that he didn't pitch, 50-50 as a DH. And he's going to be, and I'm here for the people tweeting out first 52-52. I'm here for all of it. We should soak up every single ounce of this guy's talent level. It is, I don't know how to describe it. I can only describe it as the journalism, the adult in me leaves my body, and it's the 6-year-old on the couch falling in love with baseball. That's the only way I can describe something that you just never get to see.
Yeah. If you still have your J card, you're weird, man. I mean, it's not like we're accredited here. No, I'm totally with you. This brings out that childlike sensation that you get. And I'm with you, dude. Like it's I don't want to say that it's like tough to derive enjoyment from a baseball game, but there are very few moments now when you watch this much baseball that are like, oh my gosh, I cannot
Yeah.
believe this.
Like getting blown away when we watch 10 games a day and we're consistently in the weeds, like watching all these
Like you're
players.
just
Like,
constantly keeping tabs. It's
you're,
like
yeah, we're so in the
you
mode.
almost get hardened like by like Aaron Judge. This way, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, he hit number 55 today. It's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. I assume he would at some point. So he just did it. But the other aspect I think that made it so childlike and so joyful was, like I remember when Scooter Gennett had a 4 homer game. I remember
Yeah.
when Lonnie Chisenhall had a 3 homer 10 RBI game. Like there are weird pop-ups like that. And I remember Josh Hamilton had a 4 homer game. Like that was real from him. But it's not very often that the best player in the game has the best game in Major League history, or like the best game of the season. Baseball has an element of randomness, which I think is part of the reason why we like it. Like anybody can be
Love it.
really good, anybody can win a game.
My
Bailey
favorite.
Ober can go 8 innings scoreless and win the Twins a game.
Yep.
But the fact that the best player in baseball had that game and went 6 for 6 and had 3 homers and had 2 doubles and drove in 10 and swiped 2 bags. And oh, by the way, that was the game that he got to 50-50. We're never going to see a game like that. We're never going to see another day like that where it has the historical value of getting to 50-50 and the craziest day of the modern era. 3 homers, 2 doubles, 2 stolen bases. That had never been done before, right?
He had 17 total bases.
That's been done like 5 times before, ever.
You know what's a low key awesome part of that whole thing? What are you gonna say?
He hit leadoff. Is that what you were going to say?
No, it's not even about Shohei.
So his 10 RBIs as the leadoff hitter was the most from a leadoff hitter ever. Because, right?
Yeah,
But
I
what were you
wrapped
going to
up on Shohei. I'm talking about somebody else. I love Skip Schumacher. That is my oh man. So in a situation like that, why pitch to Otani ever? Right? Why do it? But Skip knows bad baseball karma. I don't want to upset the baseball gods. Now, these are his words when asked about walking Shohei potentially at the end. No, we're going to go straight after him. We don't want to upset baseball karma. I couldn't agree with him more. I couldn't agree with him more. And in the dugout, when it pans over to him, and you can see him mouthing "fuck that" in terms of walking him. I love you, Skip Schumacher. You always will have a fan in me after doing something like that. Like you didn't make it about you. You lauded it. He said he was like the most talented baseball player I've ever seen. Like it would be terrible to do anything to disrupt. We're gonna go straight after him. And if he hits a home run, he hits a home run. Right? Arm was even talking about it with the Devers and Cole situation to put things in perspective. Devers hits 350 off Garrett Cole, right? He gets out 35% of the time. He
Or
trusts
he
his
gets
guys.
on 35% of the
Excuse
time.
me, he
He
only
gets
gets
out
on
60.
30. Exactly. So I love that they were going after him. I love the quotes after the game. Skip Schumacher, you have a fan in me for life.
Agreed. I can't wait for you to manage the White Sox, Skip
Yeah.
Schumacher.
Yeah. Well, why would he want to go there?
Because it's a major league manager job and it's in a major market.
Maybe he could get a
No,
way
I'm
better job.
I'm totally with you. I don't know what jobs are going to be open aside from the White Sox job,
Sure. So
but
Blue Jays, maybe. Probably not, though, because they love him.
probably. But I do like absolutely love what Skip did. I'm totally with you.
All right, last series before we end the weekend. Roundup game 1, Mets versus Phillies, arguably the best series of the weekend. Mets win 10-6. Mark Vientos and Pete Alonso started the scoring with home runs, but Trey Turner of the Phillies answers with a home run of his own, but then it was all Mets. Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Alvarez answer with home runs. Mets just kept piling on. Taijuan Walker was terrible once again. 3 1/3, 8 earned. And again, I don't feel bad making fun of him because he signed a big time deal. He's getting paid. Good for him. Phillies moved him to the bullpen, tried him again in the starting rotation. Likely his last start for them. Luis Severino, 6 innings, 3 earned, 7 Ks. His ERA is down to 3.79. He's been so good for the Mets all season long. Just so dependable, so solid. Game 2, Phillies win 12-2. They went crazy. Jose Iglesias, home run to start it. Brandon Nimmo, RBI single to get a 2-0 lead. And you know the score is 12-2, so it was all Phillies from there. Alec Boehm and JT Realmuto homered. Nick Castellanos went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Every single time he has a good game, you see the internet scouring for things that are depressing in life to tie it in. The joke's getting a little old at this point. Christopher Sanchez, 5 innings, 2 earned, 5 walks. Weird. 7 Ks. David Peterson doesn't really have bad starts ever, but this time he did. 3 2/3, 8 hits, 4 earned, 4 Ks, ERA up to 3.08. He's been fantastic for the Mets. A little bit of a blip. We give him a break here against that Phillies team. And then game 3, Mets rebound and win 6-3. Schwarber started the scoring with a leadoff home run for Philly, but then Alvarez and Luis Angel Acuna, who has been really, really fun to watch, answer with home runs. Nick Castellanos answers that for a home run, but then RBIs from Brandon Nimmo and Francisco Alvarez in the 7th gave the Mets the lead. Ranger Suarez, good, not great. 5 innings, 2 earned. Sean Manaea just a little bit better, and he's been so good all season long. 3.29 ERA. He has now after 7 innings, 3 earned, but only allowed 3 hits, 6 Ks, and we are recording during Sunday Night Baseball, which I'm kind of pissed about because, damn it, I didn't want to miss this Sunday night game. I'm just going to have to go rewatch it later. But right now, the Mets are winning 2-1. Alec Boehm started the scoring for Philly. Tyrone Taylor, RBI single, Brandon Nimmo, home run in the 6th. Tyler McGill, 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned for Philly. Zach Wheeler's just great. 6 innings, 2 earned, 7 Ks. But Phillies aren't scoring right now, and it's 2-1. And Braves, I assume all Braves fans are locked in on that game. And you'd assume the Mets are going to win that game and pull, right? The Braves are 1.5 back. Mets probably win this game. Braves 2 back now.
2. Yeah, 2 back.
Any big takeaways from here? It's more just like juggernauts going at each other, and you're just kind of seeing who wins. It's kind of similar to Diamondbacks Brewers in my mind, where it's like these two teams are just playing so well against each other. And what's the takeaway? The Mets won, and they keep winning, and they're the hottest team in baseball. OMG.
Oh my God. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I feel like I've been pretty negative about several teams on this podcast, so I will end on a positive note.
Okay.
The Mets and Phillies are like positive vibe teams right now.
Oh, yeah.
Very positive vibe teams. So you got 2 positive vibe teams matching up, and I'm like, oh, cool. Let's do it.
You know why I'm so freaking proud of the Mets? What did I say? A couple weekend roundups ago. Don't be Lindor merchants. This offense is good enough to carry a team without Lindor. Look at what they're doing. Guys are stepping up. It's exactly what I hoped, and it's exactly what's happening. That's got to be such a morale boost for the Mets. Just realizing, like, even if Lindor goes down, we can still beat anybody on any given day. The pitching is good enough. The bullpen is good enough. And the offense is prolific even without Lindor. Mets have been the most exciting team in baseball. Tigers have been awesome, and they've been winning. But the Mets combining offense with pitching, they've been the most exciting team. And then the Phillies are still freaking awesome, obviously. But damn, the Mets are great. And it's obviously good for me living in New York if the Mets and the Yankees can make the playoffs, then I can just go to a bunch of games. So I'm rooting very hard for the Mets.
And you can use Game Time, and for that, do the outro.
Absolutely. Code Just Baseball on Game Time. Remember, go to that profile section. $20 off your first purchase. BetMGM, code Just Baseball as well. But if you enjoyed the weekend roundup, we hope you rate and review 5 stars, whether it be on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. It's the best way to support this show, as well as hitting that big red subscribe button on YouTube, maybe even hitting the like on this YouTube button, or hit the like on the freaking YouTube video.
Hit the like on the video, hit the subscribe button for the channel.
Exactly. And go get yourself some Just Baseball merch. Of course, I'm rocking my hat. Jack's rocking nothing because he hates the company. Don't be like Jack. Go get your Just Baseball merch in the episode description. Remember, code JB15 for 15% off merch is still live. Of course, we're going to be back tomorrow. For Jack McMullen, I am Peter Apple. And with that, thank you, everybody.